All right, again, this is Mr. Hayden. We're live here at school. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever. We're going to count, we'll say 50 people here in class. We'll round up. And I'm hoping that you have a D, N, or an F that you are here, because if not, and I don't see your signature on here, what in bowling, what's that? How many strikes do you get? 3, right? Or baseball, 3 strikes, right? You're out. What it is here if you don't show up and you have a D or an F. So, glad you guys came. Appreciate it. Okay, couple things. This week, by the way, if you can't hear me on there, I'm going to try my best, but I recommend coming in person, so I'll speak as loud as I can. So, give me a little heads up if you want me to talk louder or whatever, but I'll try. It's kind of weird if I'm screaming at 50 people. There's 50, right? Yeah, see the line for me. I like it. All right. So this week, we're going to talk about something that's kind of controversial, actually, when it comes to science in general, because we're going to talk about this thing called evolution and the idea of continental shift of or shifting of genetics and things like that. Now, whatever your beliefs are, totally is awesome. Okay, whatever you believe is cool. Whatever I believe is cool. I'm going to teach you what they want you to teach. What they want to teach you: vectors over heating, law comparison. I got the filter. So if this thing goes down, we'll figure it out. I don't know later. Yeah, thank you. I think I'll bear filter. I don't know what it's exactly. Yeah, I think. All right, so this one's all even. But I'm going to more talk about microevolution, because this is what people ask me. It is a, what do you think? What do I think? It matters what I think. Well, what I say is macroevolution, whatever you want to believe. That's when you start talking about religion compared to science. What do you believe? Among the enemy, which is just those two things, you know what I'm saying? And so macro, you think whatever you want. We're talking about microevolution that I do believe completely is existing, and it does happen all the time. And I'll explain what I mean by that as we go through. So, if you have any questions, raise your hand. Let's try it. Not like boring math. All right, you're missing the point. You have to sit over here and say quick math. Good. You there, thanks. All right, guys. So we're going to talk about evolution and biodiversity. Okay, so evolution is just basically a change. Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but can you, or at least a little bit of information, like you did in the session on here before, like go over a little bit of the unit test?
Sure. I didn't even look at it. So after the end, I'll have to bring it up and look at it. Yeah. All right. So evolution and biodiversity. Now, evolution basically is just the changing of genetics, typically a phenotype, over time to be more apt to an environment. That's what evolution is. Okay? That's typically what it is. Biodiversity is the fact that everyone in this room looks different. And guess what? That is awesome. Because if everyone looks the same, you can actually get genetic issues. Anyone here have kids? Kind of a joke. It's like, no. All right, when you have kids, they actually start asking you these questions. It's weird. They say, "Are you from Europe? Are you Jewish from this descent in this location?" Man, all these questions, right? They really care what your background is. And the reason why is based on where you come from, you might have less biodiversity than other people, and you'd be susceptible to more genetic, problems for the baby. So actually look for that stuff. It's actually kind of amazing. So we continue with this. The essential question for today, and again, y'all in this class, write it down. We're going to get that question answered all together. But since you showed up, you're automatically going to get credit as we go through and we start having discussions. People are on the online, as well as going to be watching the recording. Make sure you answer this question and put it in the comments area of the Dropbox for credit. If you do not do that, you don't get credit. Deal? Deal. I'll be posting this also to my YouTube channel, so if you want to watch it later, just to hear my voice as you go to sleep, you're more than welcome to. That goes for parents and staff too. All right. So the question is, what is evolution? How has evolution led to, or supposed to actually led, or whatever, led to the current diversity of organisms? Organisms is anything, guys. We think of humans, I'll use humans as an example because we see those all the time. I'm looking at them right now. But I'm talking about birds, insects, plants, bacteria, whatever it is. That's organisms in general. Basically anything that's living on the planet, okay? But question, in this room, what do you think evolution is? Does anyone here have like an actual opinion on what they think evolution is? Come down here. Even on the internet, you can type something if you want. I have a student watching. What do you think evolution is? Yeah, thank you for stepping up the game. Time period of things that happen, okay? I like the fact that you can talk about time. That's important. If time is important, we talk about evolution.
Well, it's just what we've been learning, but it's all totally in nature. It's what our performance evolution is. It's what happened, or the macroevolution, I think it's when the implementation of the genetic code that can globally, like make Cisco-eggs or Frogro hands or Frogro tail or something like that.
Example, in macroevolution, the books and everything, I get the books and all that stuff because I take basically the image off myself and what, because it's like the weird thing in science teaching when you start talking about evolution when people get mad at you. So I always push it to what is the book saying, what is that? What that's saying is in macroevolution, and we'll see it in a little bit. The example, the fact that at one time, this is what they say, is that there was only fish. Well, bacteria in the water, then fish went on land, human amphibians, when the amphibians things developed and mutated and all that, became like, reptiles and small rodents, and then boom, 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 we're all the way to now, here we are standing. This takes time, billions of years. That's what I call macroevolution. You can believe whatever you want on that. I'm not going to delve into that, but what else do you think is?
Well, about what you were saying.
Yeah.
How we're going up from like monkeys and whatever to humans now. Lots of we're like not done, changing. There's still more.
Oh yeah, I agree. This is part of what some people say what is evolution taking place now. Not just macro, but even micro evolution. Typically, people in general are less and less hairy. Except for people up in the gym. They apparently do not understand the concept that they need to have less hair. All right? You guys ever been to the gym? You wear the tank top, and you can't wear a tank top. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's bad. But in general, give me a second, last question. In the middle of the second. People are less and less hairy. One of the reasons we have houses that have warm air in it. We have clothes that we develop to make sure we're warm. Okay, over time, they say, genetically, it will change the fact that we won't need as much hair to keep us warm like you did back in the day. Yeah, but.
Okay, I learned it on audio drama called John Clark is Produced by Vision Forum, but it's evolution versus creation rate. We don't need to get into that, but basically it says, or for an evolution, it says that basically a human embryo goes through all the stages, like from rats to.
We're going to see that. We're going to go. We'll see that. Actually, see a slide of that. All right. So yeah, we went through evolution. We went through this microevolution. We're still changing, guys. They say in 1,500 years that pretty much everyone will pretty much have like tan skin, dark light, people like because there's so much now that we're globalized around the world that there's so many different people you get from different ethnic backgrounds, and that everyone's going to kind of merge into the same type of ethnic background eventually. This is like way down the road because there's so much just movement of genetics and things like that. That's actually really good for the planet because genetically, some people in some cultures are just better suited for certain things. Give me an example. This is just some people, like they talk about, they're afraid to talk about stuff. But in general, if you talk about people of African Americans, they are better to go outside, and typically your skin is better for the sun. We're sunblock and stuff, right? But in general, if I go out there, I'm going to get sunburned. It's actually a genetic flaw that I have because of my melanin content in my body. It's just what it is. If you go outside for how long, can you get sunburned, right? Yeah. It's a genetic thing that happens to your body. It's just what it is. Whatever it is. But in general, you are more dominant and you are better at going outside, and being there than I am. So you have a better genetic makeup than I do in that case. Just different but better. That's awesome. Didn't mean it. Okay, I have an Indian background, and if I allow myself to sit out there a while, my melanin will rise and I'll be fine. But just genetically different. It's awesome. Okay. It's like my son. On my Caucasian, whatever, Polish, whatever you want to go. My wife is Mexican, Hispanic from Mexico. Our son is mixed of both. So his skin is actually lighter or darker than mine, lighter than my wife. And he'll actually have a, because of her genetic gifts that he gave, that she gave him. Yeah, she gave him. He will actually have less susceptibility to burning and some things like that. He is now genetically better in some ways than I am. That's why you need this genetic diversity in plants and animals to the exact same thing. It's to make things better in general. Okay, just in general. Everything's awesome. And then it goes together.
If you in common sense on this topic, like if your father was darker and your mother was lighter, it would make sense that the baby would end up being like a lighter than the father but darker than the mother.
That percentage-wise what will happen.
Yeah.
Percentage-wise when it comes to phenotype, when we get into genetics, but it doesn't always go that way. I'm just saying that the more biodiversity that we have, the better. That's all I'm saying. Honestly. All right, let's go next. Okay. Real quick, here is a perfect plate around the sun. If we were too close to the sun, we'd be dead. If we're too far, we'd be dead. We have genetically changed our bodies to fit within that parameter. If we were further away, we would probably look a little different. Probably be hairier, things like that, because you need that extra hair for bodies and stuff like that to build maintain one. If we're closer, you may have one. I don't know. But in general, we are set up because of where we're at right now in this planet. We have water. We fluctuate. There's thermal energy. Okay, this is more for science stuff. Okay, this is a long time ago. This is what the book says. Is that 4.8 billion years ago, it was basically just a big ball of rock. Volcanoes started to erupt for, they say, rain for like 1 million years or something like that when they do the mathematical equation. 1 million years of rain. The rain was locked in the planet. It released through volcanic activity. It didn't rain. The rain hit different salt deposits, things like that, settled in the ocean. Now we have this big ball of rock and water. The rocks continue to grow, and the water is there. Inside the water, if you take salt water and you start adding certain enzymes and amino acids, we have lightning and stuff to it, you create big amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of RNA, which is the building blocks of DNA. You get DNA, you get bacteria. You get bacteria, you get more bacteria. Bacteria start to live inside of each other. Bacteria and other organisms live inside each other. They all start to hang out. You get multicellular organisms. Eventually, they make little fish. This is jump ahead. Make little fish. It's like, hey, there's loads of land. I want to go there. They start making their way on the land. Amphibians. Babies go, hey, look at me. I'm walking around. It's really cool. I really like being warm. Genetic method through hair. Yada, 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 yada. That's the macro evolution. But it all believes it started from big ball of water, a couple lightning bolts, things like that, amino acids creating RNA. Thanks. All right. Quick little summary again. Formation of earth surface crust. We talked about this. Organisms in the sea. Large animals. First photocells. By the way, photocells are important because photo, plants, light, sun, creates energy. You have anything? Inside your body, the mitochondria, you heard that? Mitochondrium, the mitochondria inside your body, in every single cell. They actually believe that is a bacteria that got inside of a human cell, became part of the DNA, and we actually help each other. We keep the mitochondria alive, and the mitochondria gives us energy. Symbiotic relationship. All right, single-celled prokaryotes and eukaryotic cells as well, multi-cell, and later first animal. I just went over this. Thanks. All right, here's just a visualization of what happened. Here, small things, plants, bloom, fish, going on land, going up, then big dinosaurs, big rockets the planet, they decided to go away. Here. We'll go over that. Next. Okay, fossil record shows this. If you go further down in fossil record in the strata, you'll only see small animals. Then later on in the strata, like early, newer rock, you actually see them start to develop. That's how we develop this concept of, wow, we haven't been around forever, have we? because we don't ever see ourselves or human mode too far back. But we do see other things. And you just go further down, smaller, or further up again. Except for this place, we'll talk about the K2 barrier or the K1. K1 or K2 barrier, whatever. Do you remember what? K1, right? K2, whatever. There's a barrier around the whole Earth. Okay, so you go strata, 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 strata. You go strata, I just use that word. Rock layers. And then there's big, thick layers. All the dinosaurs below it. No dinosaurs above it. Then they figured out, well, what happened around the whole world at that time? And they said, well, let's think about it. Was it a super volcano that went off? Was it a asteroid? And since asteroid is the one that everyone kind of goes with, the crater is in the Yucatan Peninsula, I believe, is where they found that crater finally. It's underwater, so I can find it. And killed everyone on Earth. Killed everything. Now, we'll learn about this when we talk about shifts in populations. When dinosaurs died, and why they died? Because they got cold, food went away, big things died when that happened. They couldn't stay warm, they're reptiles, and their food went away. They can't scrounge, they just walk around and I'm hungry. Okay, they didn't like save anything. What animals did survive? Small, hairy mammals that can hide in the ground and save food during the winter time. Those who survived. Squirrels, things like that. They died, they lived. Is there anything about it?
I have two questions.
Yes.
The first one is, how did crocodiles survive? Because they say that crocodiles are
They're prehistoric, but they're also land and water. This is the thing about anytime there's a reduction in temperature, the thing that will least change the temperature the most is water. Make sense?
Yeah.
So example, if it's cold outside, like freezing cold, and you want to get warm, you can actually jump into like freezing cold. And I'm talking the water just like right here. Like big bodies of water have to change every time. You can jump in the water, they'll feel warm compared to the water. They do that. They can survive that way.
Okay, and the second one was, if a meteor actually comes to Earth,
Now we're done.
or no, from back then, when quickly still those dinosaurs, wouldn't that change the shift in the rotation of the Earth like around the sun? And that's why it became like.
Yeah, there's like so many debates when it comes to that stuff. But I will say that on the size of the mountain, the size of the rock that hit the Earth, in comparison to its velocity, mass of the Earth, and the mass of the velocity of the Earth, or the mass of the Earth, and it probably didn't quite shift as much as when they say the moon hit the Earth.
The moon to the Earth.
Which is on its own. That's what it's showing. Yeah. Look at us, frequently have this video on YouTube. Got a videotaping what's happening. So,
Really?
no.
I was like, really?
Yes,
That's
a
amazing.
4K GoPro back in the day. Like, look at that, look at it. No, that's going to be back in the day. But no, it probably was big enough to, if you look at it, it's big enough to not change anything on the Earth, but basically to hit into the Earth, push dirt, and basically create a volcanic ash winter around the whole planet. The winter is a blanket. All the way around the planet. Basically block out the sun. Plants need sun, big plants die. Big animals start to die. There's a breakdown of full ecosystem.
So, oh, wait, one more.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That was good.
If it was layers of
Yeah.
Earth, then wouldn't the Earth be smaller back then than it is now because all those layers have broken up?
We'll say no. And this is the reason. There's a thing on this planet, it's a conservation of matter and energy, that nothing on this planet just goes away, and nothing can just exist out of nothing.
Yeah.
So, minus the fact that there's asteroids that hit the Earth back in the day and created this nuclei of the planet, everything that's here is here. So, for example, volcanic tip that happens over there and it looks like it's growing, that means like way over here, it's being sucked down back into the Earth. So it's recycling. So everything that gets made, every single piece of rock that usually come out of a volcano, at one other place in the world gets sucked down into the ground. We have a divergent boundary. So that rock will melt, circulate through convection currents, and pop out of the top of it. That's the noise of it. Yeah. Yeah, but good.
Okay, back to the Big Bang and stuff.
Yeah. Whoa, we're going way back. We're talking about Big Bang now? Yeah, story is a big thing.
I just want to say that I'll send you other comments later, but that they kind of done it. I learned it from one part two, which I would highly recommend for everyone. But anyway, and then they kind of did it wrongly, but evolutionary scientists have sort of tried to model what might have happened back then, as far as not the meteor hitting Earth, but the lightning and stuff.
Yeah.
And they tried to create. They actually created the amino acids. But I think the things that need for life are the right-handed ones, but they created those the left-handed ones. They created those first.
Well, what it is, okay, so you think of this, you have the lightning create amino acids. We can do that in a lab. But then you also have all this volcanic pushing up, certain chemicals throughout the bottom. So there's this phosphorus. You guys, just so you know, all this is only made of like 14 elements. You and me, all this, we have 14 elements. You look at periodic table, phosphorus, carbon, and oxygen, blah, 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 blah. So all that stuff is in there. And so it's just going to be kind of put together right away. Now, they shoot stuff with, like lighting and stuff, they make little amino acids. But one thing that scientists don't have on their side, 2 billion years of science. They just don't have that. So they do it all at once. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that whole thing. But they don't have 2 billion years unless they know something I don't know. They don't have the time. Okay, the server did have the time. We're going to keep going. Natural selection, we'll go over that. Talk about mutation, which we talked about a little bit. Gene flow, which we talked about a little bit. And genetic drift. Next. Okay. So there's a couple things that everyone is the same for everyone. Doesn't matter if you're a plant over there in the grass, or if it's you sitting here, or the bird up in the sky. Everything is changing all the time. Okay. Example. My kid is different than me and my wife. Genetically different. Have both of us into one child. Now, when they grow up, that child will then eventually, hopefully, hurt him by the time he's able to, unless he does something bad. But he's going to eventually have children. Whoever chooses to have children with. That children can be genetically. We all are changing all the time. If you look 200 years ago, back in the, say, 1700s, we're going to go 300 just to make sure my math is right. In the 1700s, we did not have all this type of mixed genetics and stuff like that because everyone was so far apart. There was no way to get around. But now, because of planes and this and that, and Match.com and FarmersOnly.com, all you what? Those are planes commercials. I love them. All right, but all those things going on, people are meeting and genetically changing all the time. Same with birds. Birds are changing all the time too. We're going to start talking about moths in a bit, but example, say a bird, for whatever reason, starts getting killed off because their food source goes away. Okay, say this certain bird A, eats acorn A. We chop down all of acorn A, because that's what we do as humans, is ruin the environment. So we chop down all their food. They have 2 choices. Go find another food supply or die. We kill them, typically, so they die. So that genetic goes away. Or manipulates changes to get better, to survive, and then genetically change. We alter so many environments, it's ridiculous. Next. So we're changing all the time. That's basically because of physical and biological limiting factors act on the environment. So example, what kind of organisms do you think live in there? By the way, for people online, I'm pointing at the water. Fish. Okay. What else? Water, think about it. Bacteria, thank you very much for bacteria. Plants, algae, things like that, awesome. Maybe it also gives water to the bears coming down, and maybe, looks like these plants kind of like to be around it. Looks like a cool place to hang out, that's why they hang out there. If they don't like it, they just get up and leave, right? Okay, the birds, they drink water, whatever. All these animals. Now, as humans, this is what we do, this is what's happening right this second as we speak. All the water levels in California drop dramatically. Can't even take your boat up into the Colorado River now. It's still low. So we get rid of all this water because that's what we do, because we need to drink water, right? So we take it. So what happens to that environment? Plants die. Animals are gone. Birds say, hey, there's no water there. I got to move over here to this other water supply. But there's already a bird that likes that water supply. So guess what they do? They fight to the death. And one of them will live and one will die. Or they'll mate if they're able to, and they'll make a whole new bird. Seriously, that's what happens. Well, what about niches? That's just what happens. Sorry, what it is. Next. Okay, limiting factors. Okay, just so you know, limiting factors are like competition. So again, say me and Ms. Long want to get the same job. Probably Ms. Long is in the back left-hand corner of the room right there. Okay, from home again. Say me and her going for the same job. Okay, whoever gets the job, our family gets to eat. Person who doesn't get the job, I need to go find another job. We're not going to say in real life, this is like talking about like animals. She gets the job, my family needs the job. That's what happens with animals. They either move, they can't, and their genetics go away with them. We are fighting for the same niche, the same exact job. These animals, these plants do it all the time. That's part of this environmental. Like they not just compete over not just like the fact that I want, you know, that female bird over there is awesome. I want to have babies with her. Not only that, it also while that other bird's coming into my territory, I got to knock them away. If I don't, I'm going to lose this food and all this. My family's not going to live. I'm going to die. That is a bunch of different competitions. Disease. Environmental changes. That'd be human environmental changes typically, because we're the ones that are ruining everything. And et cetera. Next. I don't know why the person getting shot. Maybe it's just a scary thing. It's weird. All right. So, I'll do it in the finches now. All right. So Darwin, he loves finches. He was a weird dude, big beard. Okay, nothing else in life to go than stare at birds. Okay. Remember, there was no internet during this time. No Instagram, no Facebook. There was a time before that, guys. I know. There was a time before Twitter. There was. There was a time before Taylor Swift. I know you don't believe it. Believe it. All right. No, that says they ruined that. Believer. I ruined everything. Let's just keep going. So what's happening is that the beak's death basically increases and decreases over years. Okay, I'm not talking millions. I'm talking years, based on wet years and dry years. Wet years, dry years. This change. It's like, oh, this year's kind of dry. Those birds with the long, like those birds with the dry, the birds with the long beaks are pretty good looking this year. I want to have babies with them. That's what happens. And then they choose the ones with the longer beaks, and genetically they just change as time goes on. All it is who do you want to mate with? That is what all these birds and these animals are all trying to figure out. Where do you get food to mate with? I want to have a strong family. But okay, this is what you were talking about. Snakes to the left, humans to the right. That's what they look like right there as they go through their developmental stages. Inside the womb. Okay, this is what they look like inside mom. That was similar, right? Right?
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that it looks totally like different. Obviously, they're different. But I mean, look at it. And you can't see it right here. There's like a beak, you got your ear, still head, structure.
Don't humans have tails when they're...
We'll see that. Yeah, there's like an extra bone that sometimes can genetically be put in. Sometimes they just gotta knock that off. But yeah, this is what they look like, and genetically over time you can see that. I mean, this is why people say like, oh, we all came from way back. Because if you start looking at this stuff, it looks pretty interesting. That they're all very similar looking. I mean, my wife's pregnant, and our kid looks like this. Gorgeous kid. I have a feeling he'll be able to fly wherever he wants. He'll be awesome. Good kid. Hey, good money. Now, what's funny is that over time, this is why it was early to late. It's just crazy. So this is what, I mean, think of it. This is what a human looks like at one point inside the mom. Really? My kid looks like that right now. He's gorgeous, isn't he? Good looking kid. Good looking kid. Hopefully it's just like him. Alright, so this is another thing that we're talking about, just what things look like in general. This is a human hand. Anyone recognize it? Kind of looks like a human hand. Are you good with that? Look at the bat hand. How many fingers do they have? Do they have a thumb? Do they have like a small kind of like weird finger right here that's kind of like you don't really need anymore? Yeah. Pretty much do this one. This is a whale. Okay. My wife's fingers look like that. She's pregnant right now. Hey, I was recording. Oh no! Now this is a whale. Same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same. That's why genetically they say when you go back and forth and start breaking things down, you think that's but I am. You look like you want. No, all right. Next. We'll try to go a little bit faster. Go ahead. All right, Darwinism, survival of the fittest. Okay, the idea that whatever is the fittest for the environment, whatever is the most attractive to the opposite sex, is typically what will survive. Example, if you have a bird and say that, we'll kind of go on the subject, off the subject, but say the birds, the pigeons. All the birds, say, were brown or black, whatever they are, whatever color they are, I have no idea. And then say one came out and it was pink. Pink bird comes out. You think, awesome, right? Pink bird, right? That's cool. Problem. What if the finches are hiding in trees to protect themselves and kind of blending in, and you got this pink bird going, hey, everybody! And the hawks are like, hey, I'll eat that thing. Look at that thing right there. Okay, what's going to happen? It's going to see that bird, and he's going to die. He dies. So guess what? That genetic mess up, that pink bird, will get eaten and die. Or, if it does survive up to adulthood, all the other girl birds, all the other girl birds are like, yeah, I'm not going to hook up with that pink guy right there because I don't like the way he looks. But guess what? They don't. Genetics will die with that organism. That genetic flaw was not considered something that will help the environment or help that bird supply. So the genetics die off with it. So the diversity does not always continue. A lot of times it dies off because it's what's called an undesired mutation. Example, if I had 4 legs right now, which happens, if I had 4 legs right now, that's typically not the most attractive thing to the female humans. If I have 4 legs, you say, hey, look at that man. Right? We want it. You go, he got 4 legs. Look at that. Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's what happens. So unfortunately, I probably would never have children if that's the case. Not saying I wouldn't, but I'm saying we're talking in real life. Plant, animals, and things like that. I would not move my genetics on, that genetic flaw would die off with me, and the population would not have that the gene supply anymore. That happens. Birds that come out and they have like 2 beaks or something. People examine like that guy, 2 beaks. I don't care how desperate I am. I don't care if my mother-in-law tells me how much my mom begs me to get married. I'm not going to do that bird with 2 beaks. And guess what? The 2 beaks dies off. If it helps the environment, it helps the genetics, then it's awesome. Okay, that's what you see with finches and beaks and things like that. Like, you can't have long, skinny little beaks and beaks when you're trying to break open shells. So all those big, thicker, shorter beaked fish, birds, they survive longer because they can eat the fish. So those are what's like, hey, that guy's beak's awesome. That bird right there can totally eat some shells. So they survive. Long, skinny ones, they die off or move and that's that. Genetic variation, kind of went over that. Mutations is just something changing the phenotype that is either good, bad, or whatever. Yeah, whatever it is. It's just is it considered good for that population. So example. Let's say I'm trying to think of a good genetic increase that has occurred. Like a good phenotype that could occur that people get like, hey, that's a cool phenotype. You way you look. And be like, yeah, that's what I can't think of one right now, but example, widow peaks That's a genetic thing. You know, we'll see. That's a genetic thing. It's considered actually good looking. You go. Mustaches? I appreciate you bringing up the mustache. Yeah, pretty mustaches, but that's more of a they typically they can grow a mustache. Not all, because not all guys can grow a mustache. Straight hair, like Mr. 80. Come on. Straight hair, curly hair, could be whatever it is. Yeah, all these genetic things could be either more or less attractive to that environment. And if it's more attractive, it becomes more, you have more kids with that person, the organisms, whatever it is, you have more and more and more of those types of genetics in the population. And if it's a really dominant one, it can completely take over a whole population.
So it's just like lions, they live environment over time, more about how strong they are.
Well, the animals, we'll get into like environmental stuff too, like the dad lion will say, I don't like that lion, it's probably going to go against me down the road, I'll kill him today. That depends if you kill the boy lion, because they don't want to deal with them later on. Because they just want a whole bunch of girls to take care of them. Yeah. So, but moths, so actually go, I think we're going to get some moths pretty soon. Look at next one. Alright, so let's take a moth. This actually occurred. Now, before Industrial Revolution in, I think it was like Russia or wherever it was like Canada, Russia, whatever, it's over there, not the certain color moths were perfect. They sat on the tree, and they blended in, and they were completely safe from the environment conditions, the space trying to eat it, all that stuff. And then, down the road, people put up a bunch of industrial things. A bunch of ash started falling all over these trees, making the ash of the trees more gray than brown. Now these brown moths are sitting on this gray thing, and guess what? All the birds are like, hey, look at that brown food right there I can totally see now. And so they all got started eating. And all of a sudden there was a genetic mess up. Because Green Mountain realized they don't have days like we do, like every 9 months, it's probably quick. I mean, every like 2 weeks, like more days. So all of a sudden a gray one popped out, a couple gray ones. And they're like, whoa, the gray one's awesome because that's way better looking than me. That genetic the flaw started was gray, and they started all having a bunch of babies that all had gray, and they blended perfectly. All the brown ones got eaten. All the gray ones are still alive. Guess what? After a few years, all the moths were gray. Every once in a while, the brown ones are like, hey, you can go away, John. What's that? Now what we're starting to see is now that the industrial things have stopped, and the trees are going back to brown, we're starting to see a shift back to the brown ones now. That's where microevolution doesn't exist. It does happen because it's actually seen it go. So example, stabilization. So we just look at colorization of smells. So this is all the different things that could happen. Now the ones with the dark colored smells, those no one likes. They let them basically die off because they don't have any babies with them. And the light color ones, they wanted to kill those. They didn't want those either because it's like, oh, both are dark. I don't like those. I want to get in the middle. And what happens is both of these die off, it shrinks the genetics, and you'll see if you'll get a constriction of genetics, and you only see these types of cells. You'll see a constriction of the population. Outside of like one's the only one. Thanks. Okay, this is basically what happens when you start to see a split. So example, you get kids start off here, then you start to see that there's an actual split, that this will actually become one species and will still become another eventually. So like certain birds look so much like each other, but they're completely different. So eventually what happens is they eventually split kind of in half, and these guys go, hey, I'm pretty good with these dudes. Hey, oh, they go away. And these guys are like, hey, I'm good with you guys, I don't really want to be with them anymore. And they just, after over time, become completely different species over time. Thanks. Okay, this is just what we talked about with the moths, that there's a full shift to one direction of a color or a full shift to the other side. Directional selection is what it's called. And again, I'm going to send this guys, I'll send this out to you guys through email. So if you guys need to still look at these and write down notes, you're more than welcome to do so. Next. So directional, by the way, directional also could be pesticides. So example, you guys know these pesticides, right? So they come in mediocrity because they're like totally stingy on our food. I am. And so we spray all these crops with this stuff, right? It kills all of them, right? It kills all of them. This is what happens. Some of those bacteria, because there's literally trillions of them, trillions. A couple of them are immune to whatever you spray on. Doesn't matter what you spray on, some are immune to it. So all of them die off, and they're like, dude, everyone's gone. We should just have a bunch of babies. And they start splitting and developing and blah, 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 blah. And guess what? The whole population will grow back, and that, whatever you used to call it before, won't work anymore. It won't work. So you're going to use stronger one, or you're going to use a different one. You're going to use all this stuff to kill these plants, because we don't want to keep the food for ourselves. Because we want to genetically modify them to be as big as possible so we can be off. GMO. There you go. Okay. This is a good question. Is why won't our lungs evolve to deal with air pollution? Air pollution happens, it's not really going away, it'll be around pretty much until people are no longer here. And one of the things that says, why can't we evolve? One of the things that limit us is we only have babies every 9 months. How long does it take a generation to happen? Like a whole generation. Can't have kids right away. As soon as you're a baby, you can't have kids right away like other animals can. You have to wait to get your reproductive cycle, what is it, like 14, 15, 16 in other countries, not America. Right? So you can have a baby, you're not allowed to have a baby, right? And so you have a baby at, say, whatever, say 25. It took 25 years for that genetics to change. That's too long. Our bodies, we're not going to be fast enough to evolve, basically. We do slowly evolving compared to, say, the moth that changed within a few years.
But there's countries that choice how
Yeah, there's a bunch of countries that have a bunch of different policies. Some of them don't even have policies, whatever it is. But in America, that's what, we just go with what we live with. 18. Sorry. Next. It doesn't look like me. Got the same beard, same teeth. I didn't wear my hugs, so I look the same. Alright, so just mutations are just genetic diversity within phenotypes inside your body. Good. Micro, macro, we talked about that next. Talk about it next. We talk about industrial evolution, camouflage. Hey, look at me. Already jumping ahead and getting things taken care of. That. There's a picture of it, by the way. This was during the different extremes. This is when it started getting lighter. They're like, hey, look at that moth. I'm going to eat it. And then later on, they went. Later on, after they went through the whole thing, went back and shifted back to the brown. This one was like, hey, look at me, you can't see me, ha ha, I'm safe. This was like, dude, I really gotta get out of here. So I'm gonna get eaten. And that's what happens, it's just back and forth based on how we rule the environment. Next. Typically, the one that you see on your right-hand side in the green is what you see as a typical evolution, say, of like humans. You don't get huge sporadic change. You see a little bit of changing over time, maybe some shifts up and down, but it's pretty consistent. All of a sudden, we're not going to grow a third eye. Like, look at me, and a third eye is awesome, and that's like a genetic thing that everyone wants to have, right? How many three-eyed guys do you hang out with? Yeah, right? Yeah. Right? That's not me. I'm saying, like, that's just the way it is. When you talk about humans, like, what do you talk about that to me? Well, I think it's biologically an organism. Yeah. Yes.
Some sort of going in fantasy world a little bit here, but
we're in fantasy world right now. Do this.
Mainly, the LVMs at Disneyland or on a Toy Story. The green-eyed aliens, the three-eyed aliens.
Yeah, those are real.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that you just look at genetically, and if you look fully scientifically, not like, but real scientifically, okay, that person with a third eye, is that considered something as attractive or unattractive to having kids with? Because that's what it looks like. That's what it comes down to. Is you, in general, everyone in this room, later on in life, you try to find the best mate or the best person to provide for your family. That is just what you do, right? Right? I mean, you try to find whatever it is, biggest, strongest, smartest, whatever it is, most money, whatever it ends up being.
because you are trying to do the best for your family. In your mind, you don't think about it, but you in general want to have the biggest, the strongest, the most, your children you want to succeed. And that's just what happens. It's ingrained in your body. You can't do anything else. It's just inside your body. Like you go hang out with that when you're like 25 or something like that. Like I'm gonna hang out with a dude that's 6'5", at 300 pounds of muscle, or I'm gonna hang out with a 4'2" dude that is 400 pounds. Like it's unfortunate, but I mean, which one do you get shift to? Genetically, as well as you get shift to the one we consider the best fit as a mate to. So this.
So Bill's 4'2"
Hey, we're not gonna talk about the logistics here, okay? All right? You just roll in, he's good. Just roll into the party. No, but seriously, I'm just saying, we talk about doing a lot like you, and I know like people are like, we should just talk about organisms as safer. No, I'll talk about real life. Leave the real answer. It's just what it is. Okay? Everyone has whatever the ability later on in life to choose their mate. You're going to choose probably the best fit for you and what you think will be your successful children into life. This is what it is. Next. Yeah, real quick, when we talked about species like separation, you know, like when the little graph kind of split in the middle and the two sides went to their own direction, that's what happens to the gray fox and the Arctic fox. At one point, there were some Arctics and grays, and then when the grays were like, yeah, that actually is pretty cool, you can go hang out in the snow, and like, no one see it, it's pretty cool. And these gray foxes are like, you know, I don't know, I'm going to go to these rock areas, and I don't want to do with you guys anymore, because you guys smell. And so they have split in their own directions. Eventually, over time, they come around with completely different species, even though they did come from the same exact fox at one time in life. Not like it. That's good. Yeah, niches. Okay, niches. Niche is a job. Example. Say there was another person in this room. Your parent right now. And she wears so many different hats than what she does. This is your parent right now. I'm a parent. Right now she's a paraeducator. She does something else all the time. So example, she's a paraeducator. Say she came in to be a paraeducator right this second to do the exact same job, sit in the exact same spot. When it's basically they want to sit in the same chair. They both want to do the exact equal, same exact shit. Drink from that mug. Wear those glasses. I mean, could they do that? Do the exact same thing at the exact same time? Can they?
No.
What's going to happen? She would beat the living everything, because I know her. Now, they'll fight. That's just what it is. They'll fight. Two people try to go for the same job. What happens half the time? They get super competitive and they fight intelligently against each other to try to win that job. Birds and animals do the exact same thing.
Like beavers.
Beavers, birds, say a bird goes like, hey, that's a cool place to live. Look at that. Look at that hole in the wood. I get to chill in there. Awesome. So it goes in there and it goes, oh, someone already lives here. I don't really like this place. You need to leave. Ferdinand says, I don't know, how are you leaving? They fight. Eventually one will win and the other one will be in. Whatever it is. Survival of the fittest, or the biggest, strongest, fastest, smartest will survive. Niches is a competition for the exact same abiotic and biotic resource. Same job, same mate, same everything. Fight all the time. It's like the animal fight. Next. Yeah, next. Do you ever see M over endless? You right click on them for me.
Right click?
Right click on them. Go down to remove participant. Make sure when you come into the class you come with a real name. Okay. Click right click. Yes. Thank you.
You're going to do the ad, you know.
Yes. All right, cool. So, so what happens when niches occur is that whoever's the weakest will get pushed on. They'll either go move on to another niche or die. That's what it is. And then the person who's the biggest, strongest will carry that niche, and they survive, and they have babies. And all those babies will be stronger, bigger, faster, stronger, yada, yada. That's not very specifically. Same next competitions. Next.
Okay, let's talk about extinctions real quick. Okay, extinctions are when a huge amount of animals die. Last one was the dinosaurs. We're creating the other extinctions. We're killing off everything else. Eventually, I hate to break it to you guys, and after the will of the earth, the humans will have a bad time. Not saying we're all going to die or anything like that, right? But it will be a bad time. It probably won't happen. But we've started to basically look at the sky and basically track every single one out there that can kill it, and there's not one of these until next year. I'm kidding, there's not one next year. No, we kind of track them. But the next one is, people move from the area, bad stuff will happen, nuclear winter, population will decrease by a lot, and it's stuff that people don't talk about, that's just what happens. I mean, actual scientifically, that's what we're with them. Yes.
Well, humans and their technological advances, they might not even be on Earth all the time.
True. It can be gone. There's a bunch of stuff like example. There's like you can blow it up. You can hook a solar. You basically this is what they say. You basically take a cell and you put on it, and you make it so the solar warms up. Because the sun will warm it up, that'll actually make it change its direction based on its masses and stuff like that, and then it'll just go away from there. There's so many different things we can do next. We're smart. So humans did that straight out of survival. You can't control it. So as humans, we're so smart now, we can try to survive now. Now we're the dinosaurs. They're going, who's that? Yeah. I mean, seriously, they say you can see it enter your day because they keep flashing this about it. So there you go. Because they were smart to figure out. Humans would be like, oh wow, in 20 years that one's going to hit us. We better figure something out. Don't go out there and don't do this. Just nudge it. Just you need to do it. There, and it'll nudge and go right past us. And we would have died if we weren't smart enough. We got smarter to protect ourselves. It's something that's ingrained in your body to do. Next. Yeah, no.
Have you ever seen the movie Deep?
I've seen every movie about every single Indian in the world, yes. It's one of my genres I have a tendency to like for some reason. What? Alright, let's go with, okay, extinction is 99%, guys, yada yada. There's not been there's not been another extinction that has been macro since the dinosaurs really. There's been a bunch of micro, like, we'll remove rainforests and everyone in that rainforest died. They kill off, like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 species a day or something like that. We're awesome. Our humans are amazing. Next. Factors of affecting extinction rates, climate change, that's very minimal. So example, if it starts getting colder here, we just start moving away from the cold. That's getting cold, I'm going to hang out over here. It's not really dramatic. You can kind of move away from it. Catastrophic things like, oh, there's an earthquake, and look, they all died. Oh, look, a volcano just popped out in the middle of LA. LA's probably not going to be around very much, so I'll just move away from it. Or, oh, we did the big rock that we would take. That's sad. You probably do something about that. Okay, human activities, we got small and supernatural. It's like this or this. Human is like habitation loss. Introduction of an exotic species like, hey, it's a good idea, let's bring this animal to Hawaii. There's none even in Hawaii. Well, what happens when you introduce it to Hawaii? There's no one to kill that animal if it's new, and it just completely ransacks the whole thing. It happens all the time. There's a, you know, think of one, I'm trying to think of one. It's just, they brought it, what's the one they had to, wolves? Where do they move?
And they lived in down south, but, you know, for a long time they lived in just killing and controlling population that way. Now we're bringing it back in and killing a lot of livestock. You know, to go around here south, up in Wyoming and
Hogs.
yeah.
Another one. Hogs. Some places in the world, like a big hog, there's no one to kill them. They get to be like 300 pounds. There's nothing out there, so you actually like what you got to do. Black bears in Russia, another one.
That's not all they do.
No, it's not like anyway. They've been hunting back in the day to survive. No. They did it to kill meat. Now people think they're like, oh, look at me, I'm asking them to kill them. People that kill for their food, though, they kill actually do what they want. That's what everyone considers. I consider that okay. Stretching? Stretching?
I love it when they skin it.
Yeah, that's frowned upon.
Can't do it.
It's frowned upon. And illegal, I think. I'd have to check one out. Next. Right. All right. Here for Bob. Next. Okay, so biodiversity, kind of recapping, more genetics, better, bigger, stronger, faster, smarter, better. You guys will determine that with whoever you meet with. That's just how it is with the whole population. We will shift, whatever that is, of the whole population. It will take a long time to do it. Small animals take very short amounts of time to do it. That's what happens over time. Right? Yeah or no?
Yeah.
Next. And by the way, humans try to step in to survive, help, like example, zoos. We try to like make whole regions and you can't like build them there so you can't kill them. As humans, we're trying to get better at doing that. Like, oh, we really don't need that land. Let's save all the animals that live in there. And so we try to help protect populations and we realize that we're doing it. It took only 300 years to figure it out. That's pretty good. Next. And there they are. Endangered Species Act 1973. Then they also have these other ones of no trade. For example, you're not allowed to now buy like the horns of the rhinos and like the tusks of elephants.
Well, aren't lions or tigers, like some dangerous tigers?
There's a whole bunch of them. There's literally like a list. There's like a list of stuff you can't like. You're not like, in the United States, you can't shoot a bull.
Well, that's against the law here.
No, in general though, it's species that's protected species. I saw one of these like, now look, is there anything like right now? Look up there is. I saw one. Like, there is an eagle that is white-headed and well, it was over in my house. Like, you know, that's access to like Charlie Ortega's over there. I was like, oh, it's a bald eagle. I'm scared. It's illegal. You can't do that. No, but I was like, that's like amazing. That's pretty cool looking. I thought it was a lizard at first. Because they got all the different shaped colored heads. I'm like, oh, it's not red, and I can totally see those. That's neat. Big animals. I think it's neat. They're so cute. What's next? Going to go next? Alright, that's it. Okay, so the guys online, there's none now. Thank God you all left. We'll go ahead and stop the recording. Stop.